Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks, wherever you are. Welcome back to M1 Racing. It's Wednesday night, so it's the G-Force Racing League, and we've got round 2 of Season 4 coming up for you in just a few moments' time. We get double for our money today. We've got both a sprint race and a feature race. So it's going to keep us occupied for the next hour and a half or so, I reckon. I hope you've had a good week so far. We had a very good week last Wednesday for round 1. We'll talk a bit about that in just a moment. I just lined up the video from last week, which was round 1 in Silverstone. And these were the results. We welcome back Goat Ghosty with an imperious drive. Led from the front, disappeared off into the distance. No one could get near him at all. Picked up maximum points with both the win and fastest lap. So brilliant start to season 4 for Goat Ghosty and McLaren. Not a bad day for our two drivers from Czechia, Desaves and Pankadelek. So Desaves will see in the race today. I think Jacob's going to be with us. You'll see them as Jacob. So Desaves, their old user ID. It's still showing up on the results from last week. Took second place. Great drive from Desaves. Early big points for them and Mercedes. Followed by their compatriot Pankadelek, brand new driver to G-Force Racing. Not a bad first outing. Third place on the podium in their first race with G-Force Racing. So well done to them. Obo, one of the drivers of the day last week. Hi Tim Forever, welcome back for another Wednesday. SS7 going to do it today? Let me know. Brilliant drivers, say, from Obo. Picked up 4th on their return to G-Force Racing. Had some incredible battles with SS7, Jaguar. SS7, our league owner, came home in 5th in the end, picked up 10 points. Not a bad first race for them. And a good day for Mercedes overall with 2nd and 5th. Then Jaguar, another new driver to G-Force Racing. Very impressed with their drive last week, picked up 6th place. And Jackamus, brand new driver also to the league, picked up 7th. They made it to the end. A little way back, but they did make it to the end. And as we only had 9 drivers out last week, that meant 6 points for them. A pretty dreadful day for Ferrari, it has to be said, though. 8th and 9th, although they show on here, but both DNF, sadly. Not the best day for the Ferrari team. We wish Mr. Han as well, as I believe they've gone in for their operation recently, so we wish them well, and hopefully they'll be back with G-Force Racing in the not too distant future. And you can see Mr. Hannes still had pace of 129.931, their fastest lap during the race, but couldn't quite make it to the end. And Daddy Tonk, brand new driver to the league. I think Daddy Tonk is with us today as well, so they'll be looking for a better performance than last time. Daddy Tonk, make it to the end, try and get some points up there. So what did that do to the points? Yes, of course, we've only had one race so far. But Goat leads the way with 26 points. Desaves there with 18. Pankadelek in 3rd with 15. Obo with those 12 valuable points. SS7 with 10. Jaguar with 8. And Jackamus with 6. Our first 7 drivers to get points on the board. Number of drivers yet to score, of course, and we had quite a low grid last week, but you can expect those to increase. I'm just trying to join up these new subscribers or these new followers on the channel. Welcome. I think that is Monty, who's going to be driving today. Number 15 on here, yet to pick up any points, wasn't with us last week, but go well today, Monty. We'll look forward to seeing you out there on track for your home Grand Prix, nonetheless. This is going to be a good one. So a number of drivers yet to pick up points. We saw I don't know if they're going to be racing, but they certainly signed up last week. The returning champion, double champion of G-Force Racing, M1, no relation to my Twitch channel. Then won Season 2 and Season 3. They are signed up into the league, I think as a reserve. So everybody's going to be, all those team managers are going to be clambering over M1 to come and sit in their car at some point this season. But we've got some very strong drivers to get out there. M. Dorling's back with us this week, it looks like. I'm keeping my eye out to see if Mac T's going to be there. I think they did sign up. I think Mac T's going to be out with us as well. Mac T's one to look out for, as well as Ghosty. Brilliant start to season, those early 26 points on the board. I don't think they will win it by quite the same margin that they did at Silverstone here in the round 2. Monty's predicting a win in the sprint. Go for it, Monty. You'll know this track probably better than anyone. Let me know, have you actually been there in real life? So where are we for round 2? As you probably gathered, we are going to Austria for a sprint round. So we get 2 races. Because it's a sprint round, the overall race has been shortened to 35%. Which means we won't be streaming for the next 3 or 4 hours. We'll only be doing it for about 90 minutes. But hopefully you'll stick with us for that. So we get 2 races. We'll get a sprint qualifier, then the sprint race, then qualifying for the feature race, and then the feature race itself. So 35%. Now, Ace Pilot has just followed me on Twitch. Why on earth, Ace, have you not followed me before? So Ace is driving today. Ace, you may know as Toby, often joins me in the commentary box. Looks like we're readying up, so we're going to go to the track in a moment. Ace is going to be driving today, so good luck, Ace. Go well, stay on track, get to the end. I don't want you back in this commentary box today. Oh, Monty, we're going to have a chat about Spielberg. That's great. So we've got a real local out there. Okay, guys, looks like we're all readying up, so it's about time we played this. I'll see you on the other side of this for sprint race qualifying. On the inside of Cox, SS7 goes with them. It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. 3 cars wide coming down the strip. All right, folks, let's go racing. Well, here we go, guys. We are here in Austria, the A1 ring, or Red Bull ring, I think it's now known as, in Spielberg, for round 2 of the G-Force Racing League. All our drivers just getting themselves ready, loading in those setups. They just were very short qualifying session for the sprint. I assume this is the same as we're on short qualifying, so we just get the 1 qualifying session of 12 minutes. For our drivers to set their fastest lap. This is going to set the grid for the sprint race. And who's going to be the first to go out? See Williams passing us by there, and then a Mercedes. Couple of new drivers by the looks of things for me to introduce you to as we get out there on track in just a moment. Looks like a nice sunny day. Pankadelek was the Williams, and Jacob is the next one out there. Now, I'll be honest with you, folks. I've had some trouble with the F124 game over the last week or so. We are not friends at the moment. Patch 1.14 has really messed up the installation on both of my machines. So we're going to hope that today is going to play ball, and we'll see how we get on. But hopefully the stream will hang together, and we'll give you some pretty decent racing. So Pankadilek warming up those soft tyres, trying to get we'll go for a fast lap. This is the quickest lap. You can see the game already messing me around. We'll keep our fingers crossed we don't get too many breakups today. So very quick lap round here in Austria. Not the shortest track on the F1 calendar, but the quickest lap. So Pankadilek coming around the last couple of corners here. Let's ride on board with our third place finisher from last week as they try and set the early pace. Up into turn one. Pankadilek takes a little bit of curb on the inside, rides nicely over on the outside curb. There is a car in front of us weaving all over the place. Hopefully they will get out of the way. They do. Thank you to them. We fly up the hill. DRS open in the first of our DRS zones, braking heavily for this tight right-hander. Back on the power again. Out of turn 3 into our second DRS zone. The next corner we're going to be braking downhill into turn 4. Flip a little bit of the curb on the inside, let the car settle back down again, back on the power. As we're going to go into the two left-handers of turn 6 and then turn 7. Managing the throttle as we go through 7, not running out too wide over the big curb on the right-hand side. Then we're coming down to turn 9. Pretty flat almost for Pankadilek through there. Not much of a lift at all. Throws it into 10 and loses it through there. That was looking like a pretty decent lap for Pankadilek until that last corner, corner 10. Very short lap, as I say. Early time for Jacob, 1:04.545. So good time from them. Daddy Tonk is on their way round. Their first qualifying lap, heading up through that tight turn 3. On the power in the Ferrari with the DRS open. Into turn 4. These inside curbs in Austria quite high, so you don't want to take too much of those. Will unsettle the car very, very quickly. So Daddy Tonk, unable to finish last week, will want to put some points on the board, I think. This time round in Austria. And all they're trying to do at this early stage in qualifying is get a time up there. With only 12 minutes though, not a lot of time for our drivers to play with. And not too many tyres to play with either, so they're going to have to judge this well. Daddy Tonk comes over the line for a 1:06.204. Just over 1.5 seconds off Jakob's time, but they are at least on the board. Now with Obo, just as they take a big chunk of curb through turn 9, over the line. For Obo gets a 1:04.848, competitive with Jakob. These times will come down though. Let's get to my co-commentator, ace pilot in the Haas, driving for Haas this year, or this season. Mac T is back, brilliant. 1:04.471, setting the early pace for Mac T. Ace pilot here, trying to get this Haas around. A short lap takes a bit too much of that inside curb. I think they may have invalidated. Indeed they do. So track limits we are going to have to talk about quite a bit round Austria, as they do in the real world. There is a real danger of putting all 4 wheels across the white lines here. That will invalidate your lap and you will lose your lap time. That's exactly what happened to Ace Pilot there. Our league owner, SS7, 5th place last week in Silverstone, had an epic battle with Lost in Season 2 round Austria. Eventually came out the victor of that one. And Monty, I see you're in the Twitch chat again. Let me know what your handle is in EA. I don't know what your username is, so do let me know and I'll make sure we give you plenty of coverage here today. SS7 trying to get a time in. Ghosty in this McLaren team, as SS7 I think has invalidated there. They took a bit too much of that outside curb. So SS7 will have to go again. They went out on medium tyres there trying to get a lap time in. So there's Monkey 11 driving the Alpine. So I think this is Monty. So Monty looking to get a lap time in. Struggling with the handling of that Alpine a little bit, it would seem. So maybe just warming up those tyres. They might go again. We'll bring up the tyres just so you see how many laps our drivers have done. So you can see there, folks, a number of drivers doing their early laps on some medium tyres. There's the Alpine driver struggling a little bit to get that one right. So maybe they'll go again in just a moment. So, yeah, some of our drivers are looking to conserve those incredibly. So you're in the V-Carb. ABOPD. Okay, brilliant. Excellent. So our only V-Carb out there at the moment. The team's going to be known as Racing Bulls next year, I believe, which is a little bit easier, I suppose, than the current moniker. Ghosty's going faster again, 104.038 is cementing their place at the top, as I think that's the RB going a bit too wide indeed. So APOD will give you a chance to go again in a moment. Ace is still trying to get a time on the board. I think they've given up at this point. So let's just quickly run through provisional standings in the sprint qualifying. So Ghosty leads the way with a 104.038 on medium tyres. Goat has really got some pace this season. David T, wow, thank you, my man. That is just a loss for words. 9th month subscription. Can't ask any more of you, sir. You give so much to the league already and to support the channel. Really appreciate it. And it's great to have you back. Great to have you back. And look forward to chatting with you at some point in the not too distant future. So, yes, Goat leads the way. Pole position currently with 3 minutes left to go. Mac T, their teammate, is looking like a good day so far already for McLaren. Mandy Hammer or M&D Hammer, we will have to get used to working out which way to pronounce their handle. A new driver in the Red Bull has got a time 104.474. Welcome to the league, M&D Hammer. That is a very impressive time on your first outing with G-Force Racing. Jakob then, who set the early pace, 104.545. And it looks like the RB is trying to go get into the pits for ABOPD. Pankadelek down there in 8th, so above them Daddy Tonk and Obo, and M. Dorling is back as well. So the two Aston boys are out this week. Look out for M. Dorling, no slouch at all on this game. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for the Astons to go well round Austria. Because we've got a lot of drivers all coming out. One last... and that is Mercedes going into the back of the Haas. It got very, very busy there. And that was Jakob going into the back of Ace Pilot, I think it was. I'm not sure Ace had anywhere else to go, but it got very busy in that part of the track. And that's unfortunately going to bring Jakob's qualifying to an end. And I dare say the Haas as well. So that's very unfortunate. Daddy Talk is going one more time. I want to see if we can get down. Jaguar Paul is out. One of the drivers who impressed me around Silverstone in round 1, brand new to the GFR League from that first race. Had a brilliant battle with SS7 and with Obo for large portions of the race. If you weren't with us last week, the full replay is available on my YouTube channel. There's a link to that on my Twitch channel, and the replay is still on Twitch, I think, for another few days. So please do go and check that out. There were only 9 drivers, but you would not have known. It was action every step of the way. Watch Ghosty's time, because they're now out on brand new soft tyres, and they set a 104.038 on mediums, remember, so they could go well. Pankadelek has improved to 104.126 on the mediums. Looks like Jacob Paul is just settling in. They've got a time 106.04054. SS7 110.375. They will be looking for a lot better than that. Back down to the Alpine of Monkey. Yet to get any time in at all, so they're going to be starting at the back of the grid the moment. So I can see Ace apologising to Jakob in the drivers chat, so I think they've recognised there was an error on their part, but it has unfortunately given a 5-place grid penalty to Jakob for the sprint race, but they get to do it all again, ready for the feature race. Monkey, can they set a time here? They just need to get over the line. No, they've got to go one more time. They have 20 seconds left before the end of qualifying. And the RB, Monty, what are you doing? That's a real shame. Okay, not able to get a time in. They are going to be parked up there. So ABOPD and Ace Pilot and Monkey yet to get a time on the board. Everyone else has got a lap. M. Dorling's got a 104.790. There's been a lot going on in qualifying. And because I haven't got my technician Pete in the background, I'm not exactly sure where I need to go next, to be honest, folks. But it looks as though M. Dorling's got a time on the board. Goat goes faster again, 103.954. Brilliant from Goat. Real pace there. Mac T has not improved on the 104.7, 1.74. 0.174, get my words out today as well. SS7 has improved, a 104.361, comes into the pits. M&D Hammer, a 104.474, has not been able to improve, so that is their qualifying done. And then Dorling heads into the pits. Obo with a 104.848 is in 8th. Danny Talk did get a time on the board, a 105.416 in 9th there. Jaguar Port did not improve, 106.054. And Monkey's the last to actually have a time on the board, a 108.632. But I dare say they'll improve when the racing gets underway. And Monty confirming that their lap time was invalidated. Those track limits are going to play a major factor in the race itself. Remember, these drivers will pick up a 3-second penalty every time they go over those track limits more when they go 3 times. So there's, I think those 3-second penalties are going to play a factor when it comes to the end of each of our races today. Hey, Decibes in the Twitch. That is unfortunate. It looked very busy out on track. Toby, I think, has apologised in the driver's chat, but that's unfortunately done you some harm there in qualifying, so having that 5-place grid penalty applied. So our qualification standings for the sprint. Ghosty leads the way, very impressive, 103.954. Alongside them, Pankadalek in the Williams. They're on the second row, Mac T and SS7. Welcome back, Mac T. On the third row, M&D Hammer in the Red Bull. New driver alongside, where it won't be Jakob who will get pushed back. They're going to have M. Dorling alongside them. M. Dorling and Obo moving up a spot each. So we look to the start of the sprint race here. Not exactly sure how many laps it will be, but this will be over in a flash, folks. We have no formation laps, so when you see the drivers lined up on the grid, we'll get the 5 lights. When they go out, we will be racing. Only points for the first 8 places here in the sprint. Not huge points either. I think 8 points for the win through to 1.4. 8th place. So not massive points, but at this early stage in the season, all of our drivers will be looking to get some points on the board. This is a very tight circuit, so we can expect to see some collisions along the way and perhaps some damage for our drivers. We know the general standard in this league is very high, but it's very, very tight. And even the real world pros get it wrong around here, as we saw from the race this season in the real world as well. So it's going to be tight. I can see a few front wings disappearing off into the scenery. 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing for the sprint race in round 2 of GeForce Racing Season 4. Very good start from Goat, but it looks like a shocking start from Mac T there. He's dropped right back. Pankadalek still in second. SS7 has come through into third. Mac T under significant pressure from the Red Bull of M&D Hammer as we head up for the first time into turn 3. The Red Bull on the inside of the McLaren. Looks as though all of our drivers making their way safely through there. We've got a ghosting car in the background. But our drivers looks like safely through the first time round, turn 3. Ghosty has led us away, looking to get away from the Williams of Pankadalek. But DRS is going to play a significant factor in keeping our drivers very, very close together. And it's going to give an opportunity for a lot of close racing. Been a good start for SS7 here, moving immediately up into third. M&D Hammer has gone with them there. We're with Mac T at the moment as they look to recover from having dropped a place or 2 off the start line. Obo continuing their good early form in the season has got past, I think, the teammate of M. Dorling. So good start from Obo. Let's ride on board with them because it looks as though they're closing in on Mac T as we're going to go into our first DRS zone. DRS now activated already on lap 2. As you can see, a heavy braking up the hill here, around about the 100-metre board we brake. Mac T, a bit of lost the front end almost, braking into that corner. A little bit unusual. Second DRS zone. Obo getting close now to the McLaren. Let me add tyres to our view because some may be... Mac T is really struggling with that McLaren. Everyone has gone out on mediums. Obo forcing their way past Mac T. Clearly struggling to get hold of that McLaren after what was pretty decent qualifying. Obo through, and Mac T there now coming into the clutches of M. Dorling. Welcoming M. Dorling back to GFR after the summer break. And M. Dorling now looking to make their way through on the McLaren driver. M&D Hammer setting the early pace with the quickest lap of the race so far, 105.388, I believe that was. And the first track limits penalty for Daddy Tonk. So those 3 seconds could hurt them, although they are 3 seconds clear already of ABOPD in the RB. Let's get down to our drivers towards the back of the grid briefly. There's Ace Pilot who had that collision with Jakob in the qualifying. And it looks like Monkey is ghosting. So I wonder if we've lost Monkey or their connection is playing up. So Ace Pilot bringing up the rear of the field at the moment. A second back from ABOPD. Let's get back up to front where Pankadelek has taken the lead from Ghosty. So Pankadelek going well here. Goat still sticking with them. And this will be, I suspect, the consequence of the DRS. And the Red Bull of M&D Hammer also going well. As we come through turn 1 up the hill, DRS open for the McLaren and the Red Bull. SS7 starting to drop back a little bit as we get a switch of places for the lead, and McLaren going through, the Red Bull looking to try and go with them. Cars touch briefly as they go through that ever so tight turn 3. The Red Bull of M&D Hammer going very strongly here, and now closing in on the McLaren. We have a yellow flag. Let's bring up our track map. It's going to get busy, folks. But no safety car. Okay, we had a brief yellow flag for a moment there. So Ghosty back into the lead. Pankadelek dropping back into second. M&D Hammer making good progress through the field here. SS7 still sticking with them. Then Obo, we saw get past Mac T a few moments ago. We're on lap 4 of 8. We're halfway through the sprint already. This is going to be over in a flash. And Obo picks up 3 seconds for track limits. So that's going to hurt Obo come the end of this sprint. And he's going to bump a number of drivers up behind them. I don't really want to leave this leading group because this is where the points are being fought for. There's a lot of battles going on throughout the field. But let's stay with this leading group. The Red Bull trying to make their way through. We go 3 wide into turn 3. That was never going to work. But all of our drivers managing to make their way through there. And Obo moves up into 4th as well. So Ghosty really losing out from that. It's going to be a squeeze into turn 4. Obo hanging on. And Obo moving their way up into 4th place. Our drivers doing their best to keep this fair. It's ever so tight. Between those top 5 drivers, Jaguar Paw in the Williams dropping off from this group now, and without the benefit of DRS, they're going to struggle to get back onto these unless they continue to fight and hold each other up. Look, as though SS7 made a lunge down the inside of the Red Bull there, trying to find their way through up into 3rd, and I think they've done it. Yeah, SS7 up into 3rd now. Obo's still sticking with them, but that 3-second penalty is going to hurt them and drop them right back. Jakob in the other Mercedes gets a 3-second penalty as well. So Jakob pushing hard, trying to make up from those lost places earlier. But those 3 seconds is going to hurt them. We go back into turn 3 again on lap 6. M&D Hammer now assuming the lead, and Obo now is up into the lead as well. So Obo flying here, but those 3 seconds will drop them right round. We're going to go 4 cars wide into these corners. These drivers doing their best. That's not going to work out for SS7, so they were the unlucky one to come out of that particular gaggle of cars. It's all happening here, folks. If you can keep up with this, you're doing a better job than me. SS7 now dropping down into 6th place. M. Dorling up into 5th as a result of all of that. The Red Bull of M&D Hammer now into 4th, so we're hanging there in 4th place. Could be one last dash. Our drivers using up all their battery on these final laps. We're going to start the penultimate lap with Obo leading on lap 7. Ghosty in 2nd, going down the inside of Obo into turn 1. Obo trying to hang on the outside. Pankadelek waiting to pick up the pieces here. Has got through on Obo. And now the Red Bull going on the inside of Obo into turn 3. Indeed, M&D Hammer moves past Obo and M. Dorling, both through 3-second penalties. Now, MacT trying to make their way up, but under all sorts of pressure from their ex-teammate of SS7. Well, actually, SS7 dropping back now, so I wonder if they picked up some damage from that battling a little bit earlier on. Let's get to the front. This is where it's going to be decided for maximum points. So Pankadelek leads the way now on lap 7. It's changing every second of the race, folks. Ghosty hanging on in there in 2nd. Has done a pretty decent job given everything that's going on behind them. Obo still in, or dropping back down into 4th. Those 3 seconds, again, as I mentioned, going to hurt them when everyone comes over the line. SS7 goes very, very wide. What is Goat going to do here? Are they going to make a dive for it into turn 3? No, they think better about it, but they'll have M&D Hammer thinking about a similar move behind them. ABOPD picking up a 3-second time penalty. Ghosty looking to defend from M&D Hammer and Obo behind them, but trying to find a way past Pankadelek. Pankadelek takes the inside of turn 4. Bit of a back end step out from Ghosty as he gets back on the power. It's changed behind again with MacT moving through on Obo. MacT up into 4th, so recovering from what was a pretty difficult start to this race. Back into 4th place now. Ghosty trying to find a way around Pankadelek. Can they do that in around these last 2 corners? Have they saved enough battery to push over the finish line? Drifts out wide, picks up a 3-second time penalty. So could it be to the benefit of M&D Hammer? It's going to be. M&D Hammer picks up 2nd place. MacT inherits 3rd as a result. Ghosty in 4th. And Jaguar Paul in 5th. Take a breath, folks. Obo misses out by 0.004 of a second. In 6th place because of those 3 seconds. Yeah, MacT, so much lag, and I think I'm finding that with the game ever since patch 1.14. MacT in the drivers' chat there complaining about lag on the game. That's what I have struggled with all week, and it's we're probably seeing it on the stream here as well, folks. It's not making the best viewing experience, but we are doing our best to talk you through it and hopefully bring you some great racing at the same time. But congratulations to Pankadelek for victory there, and M&D Hammer, welcome to GFR. Not a bad start to your first race here with the guys from G-Force Racing. So our classification from the sprint race: Pankadelek takes 1st, M&D Hammer takes 2nd, MacT after a tough start takes 3rd. Ghosty, who was looking strong there but picked up those 3 seconds, drops down into 4th. Jaguar Port, another strong performance from them, takes 5th. Obo and M. Dorling really suffering from those track limit penalties in 6th and 7th. SS7 was going well for a moment, but then a bit of a squabble was between those battling cars, dropped them down into 8th. They are our point scorers: Ace Pollard, ABOPD in 9th and 10th, Monkey in 11th, and Daddy Tonk and Jakob 12th and 13th, respectively, although I'm not sure they had finished. MacT has briefly left, I think, to perhaps try and reconnect. But it was a bit of a battle there and some discussions in the drivers' chat, which you can't see, folks, but I can on Discord, about the battling going on in the midfield there. It was pretty tight, it's fair to say, with 3 cars wide many times in through many of those corners. But thank you for some excellent racing, and I hope you were able to follow along with me. And there were a couple of drivers immediately retiring. So we are going to leave the lobby and restart, folks, because of the lagging. So we're hoping that they'll get reset. So bear with us a moment. We'll go to an intermission. We will be back with qualifying for the sprint race. The feature race. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, folks, we're back. We are just in a new lobby. Clearly, many of our drivers, like me, actually struggling with the lag on the game this evening. So perhaps some issues with the EA servers. But SS7 will get us sorted here, and we will go into the feature race proper. And David T helping out our new drivers in the Twitch chat. Thank you, David. Yeah, please do report any incidents to the FIA after the race. There's a dedicated channel for that in the Discord server, and the FIA will look at it. David T is on that FIA team, as am I, so please do get those over there. And we try to be as fair as possible to all our drivers. And certainly it sounds like in your case that probably unreasonable, so do get that clip over there and the team will take a look at that for you after today's racing is over. So we're just waiting for our OK to go into the feature race qualifying. But if that sprint race is anything to go by, it should be a good one. Reminder that Pankadelek was our victor from the sprint, so some good points from Pankadelek already this season. I mentioned they were one of my dark horses for potential champion this year. Goat has placed an early claim to it as well, but with Mac T back, anything could happen from here. Right, it looks as though we are going to go live to the track here back in Austria. Monty's predicting pole for them. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. It's going to be tight today. As our drivers could see, were so evenly matched, and the benefit of DRS helping that train of cars to stay line astern through a large part of the race. So we get 18 minutes of qualifying for the feature race, so a little bit more time for our drivers to pick the right moment to get out on track, set their fastest lap. And because this has been reset, they'll essentially get their full allocation of tyres again. So a slight benefit to a reset of the lobby. Our drivers have perhaps a tyre or two, a set of two extra to play with. Now that did look like Monkey going out. It did indeed. So it's Monkey getting out there, warm up those soft tyres, get a lap on the board. So Monkey new to the GeForce Racing community. We very much welcome them. Hopefully they'll have a slightly better lap than they did last time. We see Monty, ABOPD, going out on some medium tyres. I think get a sighter lap in. That's not a bad idea at all. And as we saw from a number of drivers during the sprint qualifying, these medium tyres don't give up a huge amount of time. Maybe 2 or 3 tenths at most. So they could be a very good tyre choice. And if they last well during the race, which I think from memory they typically do, that could be an advantage. And certainly watch out for that medium lap. We'll perhaps ride on board with ABOPD as we come round. But I'm going to stick with Monkey as they start their first flying lap. Didn't have the best exit out of turn 10 there, but as they come up to the first one up the hill, car wants to get away from me on the exit of turn 1. Now, would you believe it? We're just going to go through turn 2. It's hardly really a turn. But then we go into turn 3, staying well clear of the curbs for Monkey. They get back on the power. We get into our second DRS zone. As they head around the back of the circuit here at the top of the hill. Braking into turn 4 as the track drops away from us, braking downhill there. Back on the power again. Monkey can keep it within track limits as they go through the final stages of this lap. Oh, and again braking up on us again to get a bit more lag. This will be frustrating for our drivers. I know it is for us here in the commentary box. We go around turn 9. And Monkey not happy with that one, so they step out of that particular attempt. Let's get up to ABOPD. We said we would. As they continue around the latter part of the lap through turn 9, staying well clear of that curb on the inside, staying within track limits on the exit of turn 10. Then ABOPD sets the fastest time of the feature race qualifying, 107.419 so far. Think that will be beaten soon enough, but at least ABOPD is on the board. Well done, Monty. Let's get with M. Dorling. Okay, so M. Dorling looks like they're getting a bit of a tow from their Aston teammate there. 2 teammates from the last 3 seasons working together there as M. Dorling sets a time of 104.462, but behind Mac T, setting the fastest lap, or was briefly 104.273 until Ghosty comes through to set 103.941, the first driver into the 103s. But Mac T, I can tell from the chat in the drivers' chat, will be looking for some retribution from the sprint in the feature race. So Ghosty provisional pole. Pankadelek setting a time of 104.169. So our victor from the sprint race back on the provisional front row for the start of the feature. Ace Pilot hopefully staying well clear of Jakob in the Mercedes this time around, looking to get their first time on the board. 103.941, remember, is the time to beat. Round turn 4, then in through turn 5. Now to turn 6 as the track continues to drop away from us. Want to stay clear of that curb on the inside again. It's raised, it will unsettle the car, and again through 7. Then through 8 we drift out. Back on the power. We'll see if Toby lifts through 9. They do indeed, very briefly. Then through 10. Staying within track limits this time, and over the line for a 106.290. So Toby gets a time on the board. Daddy Tonk, yet to set a time, is coming round now. Jaguar Paul, the only driver I think yet to come out and set a time. Or M&D Hammer also yet to get a time on the board, still sat in the pits there. Obo is on an outlap, and they've also got to get a time on the board. Daddy Tonk struggling to stay within track limits, so they have yet to set a time. They've been around a couple of circulations already, but yet to get a time on the board. SS7 with a 104.553 in provisional 6th right now. No one getting close to Goat's 103.941 at this point. I'm staying with Obo as they get out of the way of a car just coming past there. So Obo looking to set up for their first qualifying lap. Bit more time to play with. We've still got 12 minutes left to go of qualifying. Big chunk of curb from Obo through turn 1. They're going to try and pick up a little bit of a tow, I think, from the Red Bull in front of them. The Red Bull gets out of the way, but Obo will saying thank you to them for a little bit of a tow up the hill. Through on turn 3. Many of our drivers staying well clear of the curb on the exit of turn 3. Couple of gears down for Obo as they go through 4. The hills give us the backdrop to this incredible circuit. We go through 7, then 8. Back up the hill again. And then we come to a tricky turn 9 where if our drivers push too hard, they'll disappear off beyond track limits, invalidate those laps. They risks it by taking a big chunk of curb. And they probably have taken a little too much of turn 10. No, game's given them that 104.368. So Obo really pushing it to the limit through turns 9 and 10 there, but it's paid off for them. A 104.368 puts them in provisional 5th. Daddy Tonk has got a time on the board, a 105.484, pretty respectable, puts them provisional 8th. M&D Hammer, very impressive drive in the sprint, allowed them to pick up 2nd place. They're now on a lap. Remember that 103.941 is the time to beat if you want pole position. Pole may not be the best place to be to start this race. You can get swamped by the cars behind on the first lap. But I guess you'd rather be leading than at the back. So M&D Hammer coming around the latter part of the circuit. And we'll bring up the lap data as well as their drivers try to improve on their times. M&D Hammer yet to get a decent time on the board. They're going to come over for 104.350, puts them provisional 5th. And you see there's very little to separate our drivers at the top here. Pretty much half a second between 1st and 8th. They're very respectable. And Jaguar Paul not far behind now with a 104.696 in provisional 9th. So we're going to get some time with Mac T, one of the strongest drivers over previous seasons in the G-Force Racing League. They know their way around most tracks in this game. And a long-time supporter of GFR, so it's good to have them back. Partnering with Goat Ghosty for McLaren this season. This is a very, very strong-looking team. Teammates with SS7 last season with Mercedes, but making the switch to McLaren and sets about improving on that 104.214. We can tell if they're improving. Just keep your eye on the top right corner of your screen, folks. As Mac T goes through turn 1, we'll get a sense if Mac T is improving or not. They've got about 3 tenths to close down. They're just very fractionally down on their first qualifying lap, but you really gather the time in the last 2/3 of this circuit around the slower corners. It's all about speed in the first half and then control in the second. Mac T not happy with that lap. They have pulled out of that. Go. Their teammate is going for it again. Monty's telling us in the Twitch that they are struggling with spinning, and if you put your foot down too hard around here, the car will get away from you, as the McLaren of Goat Ghost is ably demonstrating, and they have gone beyond track limits there, I'm pretty sure. Wow, they held it. They held it. Wow, good save, and does improve a 103.937. That was right on the edge from Goat Ghosty as they came through turn 10, but does improve And it extends that gap out to Pankadalek, who has not yet improved that 104.169. It looks as though these are an older set of soft tyres, so would always struggle to improve on that. MacT on that 104.214. I think they may be going again here. They are indeed. So pretty much level with their Sector 1 time from before. So Jakob in fourth provisionally, 104.259 with 7 minutes of qualifying left to go. MacT trying again. They backed out of that earlier lap, recharge that battery, go again. You can see MacT's got about a third of their battery left, looking at their steering wheel as they come through turn 6. And again, fractionally up, but pretty much the same lap time at this point. Doesn't need to improve by much to still second away from Pankadalek. Thousandths of a second in it at this point. MacT makes it through and does improve, and does indeed. Oh no, gets ever so close to Pankadalek, but stays in provisional third. M&D Hammer is out again. Let's go. So Jakob is on some very old soft tyres, unlikely to improve their time. With a 104.259 for Jakob. They are into the pits actually, so they are heading in. M&D Hammer on a outlap. Alright, let's get down to ABOPD, or Monty as we're coming to know them as. Looking to improve on that 106.459. Struggling a little bit, as we were hearing in the Twitch chat, with the rear end of this RB. Coming through Sector 2 here. As the game breaks up on us again, and we see the RB is down by 4 tenths. So unlikely that Monty's going to improve on that time at the moment. M&D Hammer, let's get back up to them. So most likely challenger for the front row of feature race qualifying. 104.350 their last time. As we come towards the end of Sector 1, again, fractions of a second up on their previous bit. This is not where drivers will collect the most time. It's going to be in these later stages of the lap. Round turn 4. Well, it's good to have a Red Bull out on the circuit. We haven't had too many Red Bull drivers in recent seasons, so it's good to have a Red Bull out there. M&D Hammer not improving yet. They're just under 2 tenths down on their previous lap time, but a lot of time can be made up just through these last couple of corners here. M&D Hammer can get these right, using the engine braking there to slow them down, and pretty much exactly the same time as before. 104.381 does not improve, so stays in provisional 5th. Daddy Tonk back out. 105.223 is improving, so it's keeping them in provisional 10th at this point. Ace Pilot back in the pits. Monkey is out again on an outlap, and so is M. Dorling, so trying to improve on that 104.361. Up into turn 3. Scene of that infamous clash between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen this season. So I expect we'll see some similar events in today's race as well. So M. Dorling coming around turn 4 here. They've got a car in front of them. Hopefully it's far enough ahead, it's not going to cause too much in the way of turbulent air for the Aston Martin driver. Foot flat to the floor through 7 and 8 there. We really need that car in front of us to get out of the way. They do, but I wonder if that has... Yeah, that may well have put M. Dorling off. I would not be surprised at all. Probably confused them quite substantially, so they do not improve. 104.361 is their time. Obo 104.368 also does not improve on their position. Down to SS7, warming up some soft tyres. I wonder if they've given up on their lap. So some of our drivers really struggling to get it together, and obviously with such a tight circuit, it's very easy for these drivers to get in each other's way, very unintentionally, I am sure, but it does sadly happen. So SS7 just biding their time here, perhaps not happy with it first time around, staying out of the way of fast approaching. It's the other Mercedes of Jakob coming through. They've got a 104.259 to beat, and indeed Jakob starting their qualifying lap now. We've got just under 2 minutes left to go of feature race qualifying. Let's ride on board with SS7. So maybe playing the team game, getting a bit of a tow from their teammate in front. Will Jakob indeed jumps out of the way. So teamwork there from the McLaren drivers, helping SS7 get a bit of a tow up the hill, trying to improve on that 104.553. You really don't need to improve much to make up some huge number of places here. Clipping the curb on the inside of turn 4. Also dancing with the grass on the outside of the track there for SS7. Trying to keep it nice and flat through there. Big improvement on time from SS7. They're 4 tenths up already through the second sector. Very busy out on track now with drivers trying to get one final lap in. We stay with SS7 as they come round the final corner. DRS open for the final time. Cross the line for 104.155. Moves SS7 up into third. But Jakob steals provisional second as well. So excellent lap from the two Mercedes drivers there. So Jakob near 1.104 dead pretty much. Down to Mac T, trying to improve that 104.190. Left it right to the last minute for the McLaren driver. Ace Pilot has left the session. Obo has left the session as they've had enough of qualifying. The McLarens working together to give each other a tow up the hill. So Mac T desperately trying to improve in that 104.190. Remember, 2 tenths here and they will be very close to pole position. Will we have a full McLaren front row? We won't have long to find out. Pankerdelek having pushed down into 4th place by the two Mercedes on 2 very hot laps. So Maxi coming around the final corners here. 104.190 their earlier time. 103.937 for their teammate. Ghosty. Maxi crosses the line for 103.965. So close, so close. It is an all McLaren front row for the feature race here round the Red Bull Ring. And the two Mercedes a lot behind, directly behind them. So great qualifying from McLaren. And not too shabby from the Mercedes guys either. We'll run through all the final qualifications as it looks to be an RB parked in the barrier there. In the exit of turn 1. Pretty tough day for ABPOT so far. Monkey did get a time 107.237. They are going to be starting at the back of the grid in 13th. We've got no more drivers out now. I don't think. Yes, BOPD is stuck, it would seem, on the side of the track here. Yeah, beached. The side of the track looks like the front nose buried into the barrier. So sadly, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Absolutely buried, it would seem, Monty, under the barriers. That's unfortunate for them. But we have come to the end of qualifying for the feature race, and ABOPD disqualified for parked in a dangerous position. Now they seem to be able to move, it would seem, as soon as they were disqualified. How unfortunate. Okay, here's our grid for the start of the feature race. Ghosty and McLaren and Mac T and McLaren up on the front row, both in the 103. So great qualifying from the two McLaren drivers, followed by pretty decent performance from the Mercedes, Jakob and SS7, third and fourth, respectively. Pankadalek in the Williams in fifth. M&D Hammer lines up alongside them in sixth. Jaguar in the Williams in seventh. Then the two Astons, after a very strong showing in the sprint race, not such a great qualifying, but we saw them go well actually in race conditions. So watch out for the Astons, and we'll see if they can make their way up through the field. This is going to be tight. I'm going to need your help, folks, to keep an eye on everything that is going on. We'll do our best to give you all the key action here. So a reminder, no formation lap. Once the drivers are lined up on the grid, we will go racing when the 5 lights go out. So can Pankadalek and repeat their drive from last week and finish on the podium? Can Ghosty get another victory? Will we see some improvements from some of those other drivers out there on the track? Will SS7 get on the podium for the first time in a while? We'll have to wait and see, but we won't have to wait too long. 5 lights are on. All right, folks, let's go racing for round 2 of the G-Force Racing League Season 4 from the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. Good start by Ghosty, but again, another slow start from Mac T. Connectivity problems possibly plaguing them once again has helped out the two Mercedes as they came through, and also M&D Hammer, although that's SS7 going very deep into turn 3, allowing the Red Bull through. So M&D Hammer up into third already. The McLaren of Mac T buried behind the rear wing of SS7 can't find a way through. It looks as though we've got the two Williams of Jaguar and Pankadalek fighting it out for 6th and 7th there. So Jaguar making strides already early on in the race, and the Astons waiting to pounce on the Williams drivers as well. So Goat leads the way. Jakob in the Mercedes just on their rear wing as they go through turn 9 there. M&D Hammer was already dropped out of DRS, so a 1 second gap already as we start lap 2, and DRS will be enabled straight away. So M&D Hammer won't have that protection of DRS and will be at the mercy of SS7, but SS7 looked to have a bad exit out of turn 1, so now Mac T looking to take advantage of SS7's trouble. SS7 through on M&D Hammer. Did not see that coming. Also, Mac T is ghosting there, struggling with connectivity, I suspect, for Mac T based on their comments earlier. That's allowing Jaguar to come through on the McLaren up into 5th. Back up the front, SS7 is trying to close down this gap to Goat Ghosty, and Goat Ghosty having been passed now by Jakob in the other Mercedes. So Jakob taking the lead here of the feature race. A long way to go, folks. 25 laps on this 35% race here in Austria. And you can see the game giving us an indication of tyre strategies. And because it's a relatively short pit lane here, and the undercut is so powerful, we may see drivers doing 2 pit stops. I think it's unlikely for our front runners, but you never know. But the new tyres can be incredibly powerful. Let's get down to M&D Hammer as they go through on SS7, going round the outside of SS7 into turn 3. Nice move. SS7 backs out of that, ducks in behind the Red Bull, and M&D Hammer now will be looking to get after Goat Ghosty and Jakob. If they can close down that gap, it will be all on for the lead of this race. But already Goat and Jakob pulling away nearly 2 seconds now from M&D Hammer and SS7. There's now a second gap back, or just about, to Jaguar and Mac T. And Jaguar dragging along Mac T, Pankadalek, M. Dorling and Obo before we get a gap down to ABOPD and Monty. I'm going to call you Monty from now on. Those are too many letters for my lips and teeth to get around. So Monty there in 10th place. Then comes Ace Pilot in 11th, going but very wide there through turn 10. Will be starting to pick up those track limit warnings. Then we get down to Monkey, and Daddy Tonk looks to be having a pretty decent battle here in 12th and 13th. Daddy Tonk going down on through on the inside of Monkey there, moving up into 12th. Does Daddy Tonk have DRS? No, they do not. So, but it didn't look like Monkey did either. So Monkey's sitting behind the rear wing. Monkey going too tight there on the apex of turn 3 and picking up their third warning and a 3-second penalty. There will be many more of those from many of our drivers before the end of this race, but that has moved Daddy Tonk up into 12th. Let's get back up to this group of cars being dragged along by M&D Hammer. Oboe at the rear of this train, but just staying with their teammate M. Dorling. Then Pankadelek and Jaguar Paul, the two Williams there in 6th and 7th. Jaguar Paul having made a decent start to this race. Ace Pilot picking up a 3-second time penalty. Watch those start to roll through, folks. M. Dorling setting the fastest lap so far, 106.384. So sitting in that chain of cars is giving them a bit of pace. But M&D Hammer is now 2.5 seconds back from Goat Ghosty. So the front two starting to pull away. Jacob and Goat Ghosty exchanging positions occasionally up front. M&D Hammer now coming under attack from Mac T, and SS7 being hassled by Jaguar Paw in the Williams, and we come on board with Jaguar Paw just at the right time as they look down the inside of SS7. Oh, and now the other Williams going around the outside of their teammate here. There's a brave move from Pankadelek, but brilliant overtake from Pankadelek. Two cars there, it looks like got past SS7 and Jaguar Paw all in one go. The one thing we had not looked at this point, folks, is tyres. And this will have a material impact on the strategy for our drivers through this race. So as the stream breaks up on us once again, folks, bear with us as the game settles in. So Jaguar Paw on medium tyres, as indeed a large number of the field. However, Goat Ghosty, Pankadelek, SS7 and Daddy Tonk all on hard tyres will allow them to go an awful lot longer in this race before they need to pit. They'll be looking to go at least beyond half distance, barring any safety cars. Now, we have not had a safety car at this point in the Austrian Grand Prix for the first time in probably as long as I can remember. So it tells you a little bit about the quality of the driving going on here, and all of our drivers managing to keep it pointing in the right direction and largely remaining on track. So these hard drivers will be hoping that stays the way, the case for quite some time to come. But as these tyres start to wear, the mediums will need to get in a little bit earlier than the hards. Be interesting to see if any of our medium drivers go medium, medium, soft, or indeed just medium onto hards and take it to the end. But soft tyres will come into play, particularly if a safety car comes out. We're 6 laps in on all of these tyres right now. We've started lap 7 with Goat Ghosty continuing to now, exchanging the lead with Jacob. But remember, Jacob on those medium tyres is perhaps starting to feel the pace, and they are dropping back gradually from Goat Ghosty. They're remaining within DRS. 7/10 back from the McLaren, but not able to push quite as hard as they were earlier on. So those mediums perhaps starting to give up. That's also showing in the pace of Pankadelek, because we saw it went round the outside of their teammate and SS7 through turn 6. So those hards definitely have some grip compared to the aging mediums. SS7 now is perhaps thinking the race may come to them. They're at the back of this chain of cars. We do have a yellow flag in sector 2. I think that may have been Ace Pilot. I'm going to put the full track map up. It'll give us a better clue next time. So Pankadelek able to keep the Red Bull of M&D Hammer at bay. Oboe now right on the rear wing of Mac T, doing their best not to avoid it. And there's a very late move by Jaguar Paw, it would seem, on the Aston. But they do not gain a place, and indeed SS7 now looking to take advantage of that. Try to go round the outside of the Williams through turn 4. And they will now have the inside as we head into turn 6. So SS7 holds on, and indeed, so they move up. SS7 moves up into 8. And will now be looking to get after the 2 Astons in front of them and their aging medium tyres. Although SS7 being not giving any room at all by the Williams here. Good fight between these two, and Jaguar and SS7 had a pretty epic battle at Silverstone last week. That is dropping SS7 out of DRS of the Aston Martin. That's not what they wanted at all, so they're going to have to work hard here to get up on the back of the Aston Martins. Monty's telling us that their rears are cooked in the RB here, and I think these mediums are having the best of had the best of times earlier on in the race, not so much on lap 9. So these mediums really struggling as we see the Haas of Ace Pilot go very wide there. Having a pretty strong battle, it would seem, with Monkey in the Alpine. Both those drivers with some time penalties for track limits. SS7 now being passed again by Jaguar Paul. SS7 struggling to take advantage. Pankadelek picking up a 3-second time penalty. Watch for that having a material impact on the race outcome at the end of lap 25, folks. We are way off there, though. So we're on now starting lap 10. Ghosty leading the way and having pulled out a huge margin now on Jakob. 2.4 seconds. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That is the Haas of Ace Pilot. Let's get down to Ace. They are recovering, so hopefully that will keep the safety car at bay. SS7 and Jaguar Paul continuing to fight here for 8th and 9th. Jaguar Paul, having picked up a time penalty as well, comes back through on the Mercedes, but this is helping them exchange DRS and get back onto the rear of Obo. So they're working together using that DRS to actually rejoin this train of cars. Obo is staying with their teammate M. Dorling. M. Dorling now out of a second range of Mac T. Mac T sticking with M&D Hammer and Pankadelek. Remember, Pankadelek with that 3-second time penalty, they would automatically drop back, well, I'm saying to at least 6th place at this point if the race were to finish here, but it's not going to finish here. We've got another 15 laps to go. The first pitting of the Austrian Grand Prix. So M&D Hammer is in. They're the first of our drivers to get off of these medium tyres. What will they choose? It's hard tyres for the Red Bulls. So M&D Hammer looking to take these tyres to the end of the race. Now they'll get a huge undercut on the cars they were racing against. We'll see where this shakes out for M&D Hammer when the drivers in front of them start to pit as well. But M&D Hammer's the first to blink. They will get out there. We'll keep an eye on their lap times. 106.384 is the fastest lap so far, set by M. Dorling. So there is pace to be found out there. Mac T starting to drop out now, the DRS of Pankadelek. Ace Pilots now picked up a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Misjudging that one, Toby. So that will have to be spent either at the end of the race or at their next pit stop. But Ace Pilot has also pitted onto hard tyres. Now we see, so Pankadelek coming through now. Not pitting yet, obviously, on those hard tyres. But Jakob, who was in second place, now into the pits. It's all going to start changing now, folks. So let's keep an eye on what our drivers decide to choose. Everyone going onto hard tyres at this point. No one going for a 2-stop strategy, it would seem. So it's a long way to take those hard tyres around here, but with reducing fuel loads, less stress on these tyres at later stages of the laps will allow these tyres to go a lot longer than they would do in the earlier stages. Goat Ghosty with a huge lead now. 5.2 seconds from Pankadelek in second. M. Dorling in third now, but also has picked up 3 seconds for track limits. So unfortunate circumstances for M. Dorling. Obo has no time penalties though, so keep it clean, Obo. And this could turn out to be a very good day for Aston Martin. SS7 now coming through as Obo looks to pit off of those medium tyres, promoting SS7 into 4th place. M. Dorling continuing, but obviously not wanting to pit at the same time as their teammates. So Obo is in, M. Dorling braving it out for another lap. SS7 has no penalties either at this stage. So again, if these penalties play a major factor, we get a safety car, or our cars are very close together at the end of this race, those with no penalties will be promoted very rapidly through the finishing order. So SS7 is now on the back of M. Dorling. Sadly, Monty picking up a 10-second time penalty. SS7 going down the inside of M. Dorling through up into 3rd place. And it's starting to come back to them now, SS7, this race. Got to take these hard tyres a little bit further. And hard runners praying for a safety car probably around now. And Monty was 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. And that's all you need to get 10 seconds from the stewards. So SS7 here coming tight round, and actually SS7 pitting pretty early, I would say. Not too bad. So we play about 10-11 laps on medium tyres, but they are now going to be super rapid in the latter stages of this race. Pankertelek also getting on to medium tyres. Fastest lap, M&D Hammer. So that's the difference. M&D Hammer now up into 3rd place already. That undercut I'm mentioning, very, very strong round here. So M&D Hammer has the fastest lap now, 106.033. Will be in the 105s in no time at all. Mac T, having pitted slightly earlier than Pankertelek, is on the back of the Williams as we go into turn 3. Mac T has now had a chance to warm up those hards. They'll certainly be looking to stay with the Williams, if not try and get past them and put those mediums under some pressure early on, get them worn out. So hopefully they can make their way through on the Williams. Watch the times of SS7 and Pankertelek. They're on brand new medium tyres. Now just keep my eye on the timing screens. See if we can see anyone improving. Indeed we do. We see Mac T and Pankertelek and SS7 all setting personal best sectors. No purples just yet, so these times will start to settle in. So up to the front, Goat Ghosty has pulled out a very significant lead, mainly due to the fact that everyone else has pitted. Jakob now starting to close down that gap. I think the pit stop time here around about 25 seconds or so. So may promote Jakob into the lead of this race, depending on what Goat Ghosty decides to do. They've certainly got some reasonable pace. They are actually lapping 107.177 their last lap time. About a second slower than everyone else who has pitted. So they are giving up time here, Goat Ghosty, but looking to have a decent lap tyre delta for the latter stages of this race. We're on lap 16 of 25, 2/3 pretty much of the way through this race. Goat Ghosty building on the strong start of their season, the victory in Silverstone last week with an imperious drive. Jakob here in second, but being closed down now by M&D Hammer, who really has picked up some pace here today and is battling with Pankertelek. Actually, this is Pankertelek getting through now on M&D Hammer. So those medium tyres, very grippy at this stage. Superior grip on the hard tyres around them. So whether or not they can hang on to that pace as we get through the last remaining laps of this race. Mac T is there as well in 5th. SS7 trying to close that gap down to Mac T. It's out at 3.8 seconds at the moment as Monkey picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. SS7's last lap, their best of the race so far, 106.620. And we are getting times very close around the 106 is dead. And we get our first 105 from Pankertelek, 105.930. They are now going after Jakob in the Merc ahead. Remember, Pankadelek's got to work super hard now today, that given the fact that they have that 3-second time penalty. Obo picks up 3 seconds as well, as does Ace Pilot, picks up another 3 seconds. So it's going to get painful for many of our drivers as we get towards the end of this race. Pankadelek going to drop back, so they're working super hard to get up past Jakob now into second on track. Jakob will hope to stay with them, as will MD Hammer and Mac T. SS7 not really able to close down that gap to Mac T. It's 4 seconds now. And of course Mac T getting the benefit of the DRS from M&D Hammer in front of them. So it's going to be hard work for SS7, particularly as they're dragging M. Dorling and Obo with them. The only plus for SS7 at this stage really is that they're not really at threat from the Astons behind because of those time penalties for the two Aston drivers. But they aren't getting the benefit of any DRS in front of them. They're pretty much just dragging these Astons along. Let's get back to this battle for second, third, fourth and fifth. This is really where the big points are going to be won or lost. Goat has been in for a pit, and they are out on brand new medium tyres. 3 seconds for Jacob, so that's going to hurt them as well, and it's looking much better for M&D Hammer and Mac T. So M&D Hammer now looking down the inside of the Mercedes into turn 4, and Jacobs goes sideways coming out of turn 4. Mac T seemed to disappear. Thank you, F124. Hopefully they'll reappear. They have finally 1.5 seconds back from Jakob. So Jakob really losing out there. 3 second time penalty for them, and also dropping back into 4th place. M&D Hammer is looking very strong for a podium finish as Ghosty sets the fastest lap of 105.855. Goat is really driving superbly well in early stages of the season here. Pankadelek trying to close that gap down. It's 4 seconds now. But they are dragging M&D Hammer with them. And Jakob, there's Mac T having dropped out of DRS, I dare say, due to the glitches of the game, which we saw here as well. M. Dorling and SS7, it would seem, having a battle, as indeed are the two Aston teammates. So, looking for team honours here between M. Dorling and Obo. We've got 6 more laps to go after this one, folks. I think Ghost is looking nailed on for maximum points again, it would seem, but it's anyone's guess who's going to finish in the other places. SS7 clear, and indeed has closed the gap down quite substantially to Mac T now. It's 2.5 seconds. It was about 4 seconds a lap or two ago. So those disconnection issues amongst many other things causing issues. M. Dorling picking up time penalties. Let's have a look at those penalties. What are they going to tell us? Oh, ouch. Okay, so Pankadelek 3 seconds, Jakob 3 seconds, Obo 3 seconds, as we just saw M. Dorling increasing theirs to 6 seconds. Jaguar 3 seconds. Sorry, Monty, 13 seconds. That is going to hurt as we see Obo going down the inside of SS7 into turn 3, moves them up into 6th place. SS7 goes very wide as they try and avoid the Aston Martin, but hopefully that doesn't add to any track limit warnings for them. There's a lot of battling going on between the two Aston Martins. 16 seconds now for Monty. Daddy Tonk's got 3 seconds. Stay there, Daddy. You may benefit from this. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Look what's happening ahead of you. Monkey with 9 seconds and Ace Pilot with 12, but still going. Let's get up to 2nd and 3rd and 4th here, because it's getting very, very tight. M&D Hammer knows they don't really have to fight too hard with Jakob and Pankadelek, with them carrying those 3 second time penalties. But they've got Mac T behind them as well. They don't want to give up 2nd place on the podium. Mac T just biding their time. Let's ride on board with Mac T, see what their ERS is like. About 50% battery for Mac T, so that'll give him a little bit of a boost. Oh, we really see the issues that Mac T's struggling with the lagging there. There is a yellow flag, sector 2. It's cleared. That looks to be the battling between, that could have been our group at the back of the grid there. But Mac T hanging on to the back of the Red Bull. So this is really the battle for second and third that we're watching between M&D Hammer and Mac T. Pankadilek and Jakob not able to scamper away. Goat Ghosty 5.5 seconds or more ahead now. Obo, SS7 and M Dorling still fighting out for 6th, 7th and 8th. Jake Rapport looking to come back into it now. Yeah, Jacob Rapport, let's get down to Jacob Rapport in 9th. They've got 3-second time penalty, but close enough to M Dorling to leapfrog them if the race were to finish now. More time penalties coming through. I think we'll keep that up now rather than tyres. So we know our tyres are getting older. Those on the hards will certainly be feeling a little bit stronger at this point. Those on the mediums will be feeling the pressure a little more. Maybe we'll give ourselves one quick reminder of those. So Goat and Pankadilek both on mediums, but Goat obviously pitting much later than everyone else will be able to easily take those mediums right to the end. Pankadilek, SS7 and Daddy Tonk will be feeling the pressure a little bit more. Ace being for a second pit stop, I believe, onto those mediums with 6 laps old on those ones. Goat sending another fastest lap, a 105.845. That will be another point in the bag for... Oh, no, it's SS7 picking up a 3-second time penalty. So all of our drivers struggling to keep it clean. And unfortunately for SS7 is going to have an effect at the end of this race. So yeah, all of our drivers starting to struggle. Yeah, so 105.845, that extra lap. Extra point for Goat is going to be going their way, and it's all really bunched up now. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Everyone going for it here, and there's contact between the Red Bull of M&D Hammer and the rear end of Pankadilek, it looked like there. As everyone's fighting it out for these final positions, Mac T is right in the mix here. As our drivers battle both their tyres, the track and the game, it would seem today. Pankadilek and Jakob exchanging places or attempting to. M&D Hammer in 4th. No time penalties, remember. That's going to move them up into 2nd place. Mac T in 3rd. Mac T looking down the inside of the Red Bull. We're on the penultimate lap here. Looks like Pankadilek put their foot on the gas a bit too quick coming out of turn 1, setting them off towards the inside of the circuit. That's moved M&D Hammer past Pankadilek, and that's giving M&D Hammer a bit of a buffer to Mac T behind them. So M&D Hammer with a bit of a blocker now between them and Mac T in the form of Pankadilek. It's really whether or not Mac T can do anything about the Williams in front of them before we finish this race. But although Mac T's in 5th, we're essentially looking at 3rd place and a return to the podium for Mac T on their return to G-Force Racing. We're on the final lap with Goat Ghosty leading the way. Is it going to be 2 from 2 for Goat Ghosty here in the feature races? Remember Pankadilek winning the sprint race a few moments back. But now Mac T trying to find a way past, and Pankadilek looking to get through on M&D Hammer. M&D Hammer holding the inside of turn 3 there. Looks like a brief moment of contact between Pankadilek and M&D Hammer. M&D Hammer now dropping back in. Now they've got Mac T to contend with. Can Mac T find a way past the Red Bull? Ace Pilot sadly being disqualified for too many penalties. 18 seconds in total. Can Mac T do anything about the Red Bull in front of them? I'm going to give Goat Ghosty the honour of being on screen this time as they come over the line. We didn't cover them last week, but Goat Ghosty comes over the line to win the feature race in with a fastest lap as well, a 105.818. Congratulations, Goat Ghosty. Back down to M&D Hammer, Mac T, and the Williams of Pankelek and Jakob. The Red Bull comes home in second. Congratulations to them. And Mac T does get on the podium in third. Jakob and Pankelek with their time penalties finish fourth and fifth respectively. SS7 eventually finishes in sixth with a close following Obo. Jaguar makes it through into eighth. M. Dorling in ninth. It looks like Monty is going to get potentially points on their first outing with the G-Force Racing League. They do have a big time penalty, but it does look, they are going to finish in 10th place and get their first points. It's only going to be the one, but it's going to be a point nonetheless. Let's watch the RB as they come round to finish their race here in Austria at their home Grand Prix. Indeed, 10th place for Monty. Congratulations to them. Well, the game gives driver of the day to M&D Hammer. Last week I gave it to Goat for their fantastic drive and maximum points in Silverstone. This week I'm going to agree with the game and give it to M&D Hammer. A very, very strong drive on their first visit to G-Force Racing. Congratulations to them. That's my driver of the day. Folks, if you're watching along with me or here on Twitch, thank you for being here. But let me know in the chat who is your driver of the day. I think in terms of contribution to the chat, it's got to be Monty. So thank you for playing along whilst also picking up some points as well. At least a point on your first outing with the league. So not a bad day for McLaren at all. Two drivers on the podium and a very good day for Red Bull as well. There's our final classification. Goat Ghosty wins the Austrian Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring and picks up a point for fastest lap. M&D Hammer comes home in second, then Mac T in third. Jakob for Mercedes in fourth, Pankelek in fifth. SS7 picks up sixth place for them. Obo came home in seventh, Jaguar in eighth, M. Dorling in ninth, and Monty in 10th. They are our points finishers. No DNFs today, I don't think. Although, did I hear Toby join me in the Discord?
Yeah.
You're here. Welcome, Toby. How was that race for you?
Terrible.
In what way? Describe.
It was great at the start until I hit the wrong curve at the wrong time at the wrong speed and got front wing damage, and the game decided not to replace my front wing, so I had to pit twice and then got DSQ'd eventually.
That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Did you enjoy being back out there again, though?
Yes, I enjoyed fighting people of similar speed to me, and it was good racing.
And what happened between you and Jakob in the sprint qualifying?
Completely my fault. I tried to avoid the car in front of me and did not check my rearview mirror.
It was a bit busy on track at that point. I knew you'd hold your hands up on that. So
my apologies to Jakob. Fortunately, it was only sprint, and we both got 5 place grid penalties, but I don't agree with his one.
But I think the FIA may be a bit busier this week. There was some very close battles going on throughout the race. Although
might get reported.
Yeah, although nothing too significant, I think, but there might be a few incidents for the FIA to look at. We had no incidents reported after Silverstone, which is almost unheard of. But we know the quality of driving in this league is usually a very high standard, and we'll deal with any incidents that come through over the next 24 hours or so. All right, folks, let me let you know where we will be next week. So we've just finished what was round 2 proper in Austria. We're going to be in Mexico next week on the 27th of November. Now, I am not going to be around next week, so we are going to try and find someone else to provide a stream for you to watch. So unable due to work commitments to be here next week, but hopefully we will find a way to stream next week's race in Mexico. I will certainly give you a summary next time I am back with you, which is going to be the next sprint round in Hungary. That's going to be interesting. Another tight circuit for us to comment on. So we look forward to that one in Hungary. If you've been watching along and fancy doing a bit of commentary and are available next Wednesday, the 27th, to cover the G-Force Racing from Mexico, head over to Discord server, let us know. We would be very, very grateful, but I know our drivers would appreciate the coverage. So, but my apologies to them, I won't be here next week. But I will be back for Hungary, and we'll see what the standings look like. At the moment, it's looking like a very strong start for Goat Ghosty and McLaren. Can they keep it going in round 4 in Mexico, or round 3 in Mexico, or will we see another driver come through? Pankerlek winning the sprint race today, remember. They are one to watch out for. Mac T is back. We may see M1, two-time champion, make an appearance as well. Stay tuned to M1 Racing, and we will keep you abreast of everything that happens. It just leaves me to say my thanks to Toby for stopping by and saying hello here in the commentary, to all of our drivers for giving us some great racing out on track. Thank you to them, and welcome to all our new drivers to the league. And last but by no means least, to all of you folks for watching, thank you ever so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next round on M1 Racing, which will be in Hungary. But stay tuned, and I will let you know where the next one will be streamed from. Take care, folks. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye for now.